As the world changes, well, all around us, even close by, so do the local needs of our community. You live in the Boise area, you already know pretty significant changes taking place. The city has been through this over the last 20 years or so. Boise continuing to grow and change in terms of size, culture, and the people. The city recognizes that, specifically the people part of that equation. So they brought in a brand new role with the city, and the goal is to make sure all residents, regardless of the language spoken, that they have access to valuable city programs and resources. Joe Paris introduces us to Boise's new Language Access Manager.
Since taking office in 2020, Boise Mayor Lauren McLean has worked towards her vision of creating a city for everyone. Part of that includes working to engage with all people from different walks of life in the city of Boise. And some recent work includes creating a brand new role within the city to help do that.
I've been in my role for 3 whole months, 3 very full months.
Eulalia Gallegos works for the City of Boise as the brand new Language Access Program Manager. Gallegos focuses her work on creating inclusive city resources and programs.
My role as a Language Access Program Manager is to ensure equitable access to the city's programs, activities, and services for residents who prefer or speak a language other than English, those who are bilingual and multilingual. My focus is to center the experience and voices of non-dominant communities, including Indigenous, refugee, immigrant, and migrant communities.
Boise offers a wide range of city programs and resources. Things like housing assistance, youth enrichment, nutrition initiatives, parks and recreation, you name it. They're great resources to have, but they're only valuable if the citizens of Boise know about them.
All residents have a right to city services and city programs, so it is their right to understand what is available to them because as a public institution we are serving them.
So what does the job look like for Gallegos? Is this just about translating English into other language?
It goes beyond translating and interpreting. So on a day-to-day, I facilitate translation and interpretation services. I also consult on city programs, service offerings, and other initiatives with a discussion on how to ensure that we move forward with the equitable and inclusive lens.
So as the city launches new programs and initiatives, Gallegos will be there to make sure they are accessible for bilingual and multilingual people, as well as those who prefer a language other than English in general.
My job is to ensure that all city residents have information on those opportunities and that they know the specifics of how to access them.
Having Gallegos plugged into conversations helps ensure that the city is embracing voices of Indigenous, migrant, and refugee communities that are woven into Boise.
I think it makes a huge difference, especially when we are thinking about our wider goal of being truly inclusive. When I have the opportunity to be in this space at the start of these projects, we are working to ensure that their experience is included at every phase and their needs are being considered at every phase.
Gallegos has lived in Southwest Idaho for most of her life. Her academic and career work has helped her focus on creating more accessible public institutions, something she gets to do now with the City of Boise. She says she's excited to work with communities to ensure that all residents in Boise have meaningful access to meaningful resources.
I really feel like I am home within, at the City of Boise and within Idaho, and we're really working to be more inclusive.
And I want to be clear, it's not that the City of Boise wasn't doing anything like this before they hired Ms. Gallegos. It's completely something they've been working on to make sure that they can connect with communities over the last several years, in the last few decades, but formalizing it with someone who specializes specifically in being part of these meetings and being a player at the table to really, drive the conversation towards, did we consider this? Did we consider that? I think there's a lot of times it's easy to have a governmental meeting or to have something like city council, and you try to include as many people as possible, but having someone like her to invite to the table and say, how will this affect this community? Or how would we be able able to communicate to these communities, in a better way, it helps to get services to people that need them the most. And the other thing that we touched on in this story, if you have great city resources, that's awesome, but they're only valuable if your community members are able to use them. And if you're not a non-native English speaker and there's a great program for your family and you're unaware of it and you don't understand it, it's unfair that you would have, no access to it because you don't understand the language.
Yeah, that's true. All right. Thank you very much, Joe.
Yeah.